Hello watch lovers! Now then, why do we like the things we like? Why is it that Jimmy loves rainbow diamond encrusted Rolex Daytonas and I like little spaceship second hands? And why does Johnny like turtles? Well, who can say? But when it comes to buying watches, absolutely the best piece of advice I could give you is buy what you love. And if you were starting a watch collection today, then you can't go wrong by buying the watches that give you the most pleasure. So if you want 10 dive watches, then buy 10 dive watches. If you want a gazillion G-Shocks, then go out and get them. I love and respect that decision wholeheartedly. But there are so many different types and style of watches to experience and enjoy. So in today's video, I'll be showing you 10 watches you should consider if you're looking to build the perfectest, most well-rounded, cover-all bases watch collection. So let's get into it. So first, we have a rugged and reliable choice and one of the oldest types of wristwatch. This is the field watch. One of the first types of wristwatch created for men, designed for use on the battlefield, the field watch superseded the pocket watch, where the convenience of a quick wrist check was preferable to fumbling around for a clunky pocket watch while out on manoeuvres. Unfortunately, however, this did mark the end of miraculous life-saving pocket watch bullet deflections, but what are you going to do? So harking back to those vintage designs with a simple, solid case and an easy-to-read dial, field watches are lightweight and compact and perfect for every day. This is the Seiko 5 Midfield sports watch, and it's a fine example, especially in this desert kit style, with tan colours and a textured dial. This is a great first watch and the cornerstone of any watch collection. Be warned though, this is a gateway watch and it's for recreational use only. Now, the diver's watch is another staple of any praiseworthy collection. These are tool watches made for the purposes of subaquatic shenanigans, with high contrast dials, chunky hands and markers, and functional cases and bezels. But despite their skew towards practicality, the diver's watch boasts a timeless aesthetic that transcends the activity for which it was designed. Their solid construction, often consisting of hard-wearing corrosion-resistant materials, along with their bold dial designs, make them an immensely popular style of watch. Take this Tudor Black Bay, with a bezel in a rich burgundy and domed black dial with the famous snowflake hands, and then driven by the rigorously tested COSC and METAS certified in-house caliber MT5602U. It's sturdy and stylish and perfect for any collection. Oh, and it's waterproof as well. OVS. 200 meters. Now, a great watch to have in your collection is a dress watch, something that's a bit more formal for those special occasions, the ones where you have to wear shoes and be tucked in. Now, a dress watch is typically simple and elegant and slim enough to go under shirt cuffs. And now it's time for your precious metals, your yellow golds, rose golds, ever rose golds, pink golds, your platinums. And here we have this recently released Rolex 1908 in white gold. It features decorative hands and faceted hour markers on a charcoal grey dial with a fluted bezel and small second subdial. This is a juicy example of fine watch wearing. But it should be noted that such splendour can also be attained without having to splash out on a Rolex, however, with the Seiko Presage range offering their own elegant dress watches at affordable prices. Next, we have the Pilot's Watch. Again, created with function in mind, the Pilot's Watch was born from the time-telling needs of aviators, so designed to be read at a glance while doing a barrel roll through an open window on the Empire State Building between King Kong's legs while bullseyeing a womp rat at maximum velocity probably. That's when, as a pilot, that you really need to know the time. As a result, the dials on Pilot's watches are sparse and clearly laid out, often in high contrast white on black, so as to be read in an instant, and also reminiscent of the displays of cockpit instruments. And with pilot connotations aside, these watches themselves are no-nonsense minimalist watches that are clean and classic, and consequently tasteful and stylish. The IWC Big Pilot's watch is a quintessential example and features a large case and an oversized knurled crown, which allows the user to easily wind and set the watch, even with flying gloves on. Cool beans. Now, there's a natural association between watches and fast cars. Watches and cars go together like terms and conditions, or Haribo and cigars. That works, okay, trust me. But watches and cars are a harmonious partnership that's existed for a long time, originating from the days when chronograph watches were used to precisely time races, record lap times, and measure speed, while simultaneously being engines in their own right. Intricate and finely tuned, a racing chronograph is a great addition to any watch collection, especially if you are a petroleum head. Now, this Tag Heuer Carrera chronograph is a prime example of a driver's watch with a high contrast dial, a speed measuring tachymeter scale on the bezel, and a speedometer style second-hand subdial. Tag Heuer are all about honouring the golden era of motorsports, and the Carrera is an iconic racing-inspired beauty. Another popular choice of watch is the GMT, a watch with the very handy feature of being able to display time for 2 different time zones simultaneously. Now, typically GMT watches feature a second hour hand that can be set independently and read via a separate 24-hour scale. Originally favoured by pilots, GMT watches are also perfect for voyagers and explorers, or someone like me who sometimes goes on holiday and can't do simple maths. This GMT watch is the SBGJ249 from the Grand Seiko Elegance collection, with a GMT hand and 24-hour markings in a deep blue against a light blue rippling lake dial. Exquisite. And if a 2 time zone display isn't enough for you, however, then how about all the time zones? Go one step further than a GMT watch and help yourself to a world timer. A world timer lets you know the time in all 24 major time zones and usually come with cool depictions of the globe on the dials. Definitely one for the collection. Now, this next watch is a twofer, a space watch and a hand-wound chronograph. Now, there are plenty of space watches out there like the Seiko Pogue, the Breitling Navitimer Cosmonaut, or the Bulova Lunar Pilot, to name a few, and each one has its own story to tell. But it's the Omega Speedmaster that takes the space crown. Hailed as the first watch worn on the moon, and the surface of which can be seen on the dial of this Apollo 8 model. Now, the Speedmaster is synonymous with the moon, and this model celebrates the crew who became the first humans to ever see the far side of it. So along with the craggy lunar surface on the dial, there's also a miniature Saturn V rocket that serves as the second hand. Heck yes. So that's space. But any self-respecting watch aficionado is also going to need the purity of a hand-wound chronograph too, surely. Well, flip this watch over and check it. Here we have the beauty and complexity of a hand-wound chronograph with no automatic winding rotor weight to obscure the view of the detail and intricacy of the caliber 3869. For me, a manually wound chronograph is a must. Now, something else that's worth considering for a well-rounded watch collection is a statement piece. A big, crazy F-off watch, something a bit special with some serious visual impact. Now, the manually wound chronograph is something to behold, sure, but a skeletonized dial with a tourbillon complication is just next level watchmaking. This is the Ulysse Nardin Skeleton Tourbillon, and it showcases the very finest craftsmanship alongside high-end technical watchmaking, boasting meticulous detail and superior finishing. This is a watch that celebrates the wonder and the magic of tiny mechanical movements and spinny shiny things. Now, although tourbillons don't cost billions, they are getting up there in price, so this skeleton tourbillon would really be the icing on the cake of any watch collection. So another avenue to get into when hoarding shiny watches is the vintage market. If you're looking for something unique, then going off the catalogue and into the archives to find something with its own personal history is a way to go for sure. A good watch is one that can stand the test of time, and part of what makes them special is the stories they tell. From the faded dials to the nicks and knocks on the case, it's all part of the charm of a great vintage watch. And those retro watch designs have never really gone out of style either. Now, a vintage watch is a wearable piece of history and definitely worthy of consideration, so next time you're at Grandad's house, have a rummage through his drawers and maybe there's a priceless Rolex under all those old backy tins. You never know. Now, the final watch that no collection should be without is a good beta watch. This is something that you can wear and crash about with and not care if it takes a bump or two, and this is where your Casios come in. Now, the Casio F91W is a workhorse watch that's tough as nails. Its iconic digital display and squarish shape are as cool now as they were when the watch first released back in the late 80s, and the popularity and global reach of this watch just show no signs of waning anytime soon. I'm pretty sure this watch will be one of the last things left on Earth, along with all the cockroaches and probably a couple of mutant bear grills that are kicking around. But if you want something for more everyday indestructibility, then a Casio G-Shock is really where it's at. This is a perfect beta watch that can survive even the most stupidly reckless activities. It's mud, water and shock resistant, wipe cleanable, and the little backlight is great for guiding you down the stairs in the dark for a midnight secret lemonade drinking sesh. So there we go. If you were looking for the best way to build a watch collection, well, those are my suggestions. Feel free to give it a go, and while you're on your watch collecting journey, be sure to check out watchfinder.com, where you can browse all the best watches from all the top brands and find your next pre-owned luxury watch. Check it out, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.